Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 money mistakes that most of us make when we're in our 20s, including myself. I'm going to be breaking down some of the biggest mistakes we make and how we can avoid them for the future. Now, most of these things I've been through and I want to pass them on to you guys. So before we get started, please hit that subscribe button down below and let's take a look at number 1. Okay, so for tip number 1, it's not negotiating your salary. Most of us, when we get our first corporate job, we get that call from HR. They tell us we got the job. They tell us how, excited they are. And then they tell us how much that they're going to pay us and what benefits we get. Now, for some of you, that might be a great number. It might be something that you were targeting. But for a lot of us, HR will offer you the lowest amount possible. And I think it's important that we start actually pushing back on the salary that we want. So for my first job, I actually was told a number that I had accepted and I was pretty excited with. It was my first job. It was a large amount of money at the time and I was excited to get started. And it wasn't only until after I got settled into the job that I found out that I actually took a pay cut of $12,000. So it's important that when HR calls you and you get that job, that no matter what they offer you, unless you are absolutely pleased with the number and it was the one that you were targeting, push back a little bit. Even if it's by 2 to 3,000 more, always try to just go to HR and say, can I have a little bit more money for this job? It's completely and totally normal for HR to negotiate with you and, will hear what you have to say and then come back to you with whether it's a yes or no. And you guys, it never hurts to ask. Now, tip number 2 is one of the biggest mistakes and one of my biggest regrets so far, and that is to never prioritize investing. Now, think about it. We get our first job, we get our paycheck, and it's not very big. It has to go to rent, to food, to utilities, to other things that we use in our daily life. So it's kind of hard to want to take any extra money that you get and just put it into investing. Now, I know that many of us hear the word investing and we get a little intimidated. How do we invest? Where do we invest? What type of investments do I even look at? And there are a few different options. One of them is just as simple as going into your 401k and exploring some of the investment opportunities that you're presented with. It's important to really fully understand your 401k and how your money can be managed within it. There are also so many great YouTube resources that you guys can take a look at. Channels like Whiteboard Finance can give you guys a great breakdown of how the stock market works in a really digestible and accessible way for many of us. This was one of the great ways that I started to really learn how to invest and how it all kind of comes together and works. There are even great resources on your phone. Apps like Robinhood, Stash, Acorn, they're a great way to really begin to learn how to invest. You guys can take just a couple of dollars from a paycheck each week and begin to put them in this app and really study how it works. It's a great tool to really understand how everything is coming together and how your money is working along with it. Comment down below on which investment apps you guys use and which ones you recommend for everyone. I'd love to know and love to start exploring some new ones. Okay, so for number 3, it's having a bad mentality about money. When I first entered my 20s, I used to spend what little money I made at some of my first jobs. I figured these paychecks are so small, so I might as well enjoy it. But you guys, please listen to me. That is such a bad mentality to have about money. You really, really need to learn good savings habits as soon as possible. Because when I was working at some of those jobs, I ended up getting into a wreck in my parents' car, and guess who had to pay for it? And also guess who didn't have the money? So it's really important to protect yourself and really save up a little bit from each week so that you guys can protect yourself from financial hard struggles in the future. It is so important to develop good savings habits as early as possible. Okay, so number 4 is living above your means. Let's face it, the world is getting drastically more expensive and we all want a nice place to live. We want to go out to eat. We want to buy nicer clothes. And then at the end of the month, our bank balance is $0. We all want to keep up with what we see online, but breaking even each month is not the way to live, you guys. It's just not. You want to be well protected with money so that you aren't desperately worried at the end of each month if you have enough to keep living. It's so important to make sure that you stay within your means and you don't purchase things that you necessarily can't afford for the month. You can always save up for the future and acquire those things, but it's important to really set aside and make sure that you have enough money to live and that you're well protected in case something drastic happens. I currently live in Los Angeles, California, one of the most expensive cities in America. And over my time here, I found a few different cheap solutions to help me live pretty comfortably. I have a roommate to split the bills with. I make sure when I go out to split the bills with friends. I make sure to go online and find different deals of things that I'm looking for. There are so many different options to help you guys stay within your means and live a comfortable life. You can still enjoy life without sacrificing too much. Number 5, not taking advantage of free time to make more money. We all want more money, but get stuck in that rut of how. How can I make that extra money? How can I have that extra income per month? Start dedicating some time to looking at lucrative side hustles that can increase your monthly income. Sites like Fiverr offer a way for freelancers to connect with customers and provide them with the work that they're looking for. That could be graphic design, video editing, even writing. And these are all things that you guys can do right at home on your computer. And if you're into vintage or arts and crafts, sites like Etsy actually provide you a marketplace to display and potentially sell some of these things that you make on the side to customers. So if you guys have a free night off from work, start using it to research ways that you can make some money on the side in a way that fit into your life and keeps you motivated. Okay everyone, thanks for checking out today's video, and hopefully you'll take some of these tips and learn from me and not make some of my mistakes. Now if you guys liked today's video, please hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you next week.